Hello, hello, and welcome to that Second Gen Life with Semhar. I'm your host, Semhar Raya. If you are a second generationer, child of immigrants, a diaspora leader, professional changemaker, however you identify, this space is for you. This podcast is more than just storytelling. It's about strategy, identity, leadership, communities, finding yourself in this beautiful diasporic journey we're all going to. We'll talk about everything from navigating the workforce as a diaspora professional to the role that you can play in making an impact from where you are, locally or around the world. We'll talk about the realities and joys of being a second generationer, some of the challenges, some of the delights, but most importantly, we're going to remind you that you are powerful, that you belong, and that your job here is to create the spaces you wish existed. Hey everyone, welcome to That Second Gen Life with Semhar. I'm your host, Semhar Araya, and today's episode is kind of special. It has been a whirlwind of a few weeks here. We have a bunch of episodes coming out, but I really wanted to jump on and share a live that I did recently on Instagram and Facebook, really walking through why I think the diaspora experience is such a personal journey. For a lot of us, we come from communities that are very connected, and a lot of times our own sense of self and our individualities get mixed in or even lost in the communal sense. But I think it's important for wherever you sit in the diaspora space, whether you are a deeply active member of the community and wants us all to be as connected and respectful of each other and binded to each other, or if you're someone who's really just trying to find your own way in a community that is highly networked, highly connected, it's really important to consider why the diaspora experience is such a personal one at best, even as you remain a part of community. And it was I think for me, it was really good to get this out and share some of these thoughts. And I'm not going to try to repeat them all for you, but I want you to hear it, okay? So it runs a little long, it's about 40 minutes, and hopefully you guys can tell me what you think. I just wanted to drop a note and share this with you. So take a listen and tell me what you think. Hey everyone. So every Thursday for the month of July, I wanted to come on and check in with you. You have seen my social media posts sharing this event that I'm doing in 9 days on July 19. And I know it feels like there's a lot coming at you from me and from many others. There's a lot coming at you in the world. There's a lot that you're trying to manage and navigate. So it's not fair to just speak one way to you and put out a message that doesn't allow you to engage or give me something back, because I really love the conversations we can get into. So what I wanted to start doing with everyone is kind of having a heart-to-heart for about 30 minutes or so around diaspora experiences, why they matter, why your journey matters, and why when we refer to the diaspora, it's not just one monolithic group. It's not limited to a particular group. I'm African. I'm Eritrean, as many of you know. When I say diaspora, this isn't just an African thing. I mean, we all love our journeys, right? We all love our diaspora experiences. But it's really important that we can kind of elevate ourselves a little bit to see what is unique about our diaspora experiences and what is quite universal. And the reason this is important is because the time that we're in, it can feel like you're very alone or experiencing a new level of stress, pressure, fear, vulnerability. The climate for those of us, especially in the United States, is really a difficult one. It is one that some of us are experiencing and sharing and discussing day to day outwardly, like me. I'm one of these people that can name something and is willing to name something. There are others where naming something and being direct about what's happening in this country is quite difficult because of their own thoughts, or maybe the language isn't there, maybe the values around what you say to others and what you don't say. The way we communicate as diaspora communities varies. And I want to acknowledge that regardless of your background, if you have an immigrant or partial immigrant identity, if you come from an immigrant household, if you are diasporic as a descendant of immigrants, and if you're just someone who cares about people, who cares about the journey that people go through to make their lives better, this is a really tough time to understand or even comprehend. We can't understand this stuff, let me be honest. This is horrible. Comprehending how you can live in a country which has said that it is the land of this and this freedom and ideals. And then you're watching people lose their livelihoods, lose their safety, and being taken away. And I know there's a real fear in different communities of all backgrounds. I want to create a space where even in this climate, I want you to look at your life as a diaspora member and ask yourself, how are you navigating the reality of being a responsible member of a community and a family versus navigating the real needs and wants that you have as an individual? And I'm not posing this question to say one is better than the other, but the diaspora requires you to have a skill of balancing your individual life as part of a collective in a much more pronounced way than just simply living abroad. You end up being very connected to a broad range of people who you know are not your family members. They knew you when you were this big. This is Uncle so-and-so. This is Auntie so-and-so. And they're not really your aunties and uncles, but we're all family. This is a collective reality we all share. But then when you need to take your own time out, how are you doing that? And how are you really, really starting to address your needs and address your wants? Are you completely divorcing yourself from the community, from the collective? And are you just like cutting yourself out? Or are you trying to walk and chew gum at the same time, doing both? Being a good daughter, being a good sister, being a good community leader, and trying to discover your path in life as your career or your dreams or your entrepreneurial goals or your lifelong dream of traveling the world. How are you doing that? I want to hear from you. And I also want to invite the Facebook family. I'm so sorry. I meant to come back to you and see where we are. All right, give me 1 second. I'm going to make sure that my live stream is, oh, good. Is that it? Yeah, good. So one thing that is very important for you to understand that I want to help always support you on is that pursuing your own journey, your own life path has to be done in as honestly to who you are as possible, as authentically and as true as possible. And as a member of a diaspora, you may not have had enough practice learning how to make decisions that are in your best interest as well as the community and the people you love. And so what does that look like? Well, obviously, for young professionals and students, all of us go through the stage of wanting to pursue a career path that is different than what our families have wanted: a lawyer, doctor, engineer, maybe a nurse. But a lot of us do find ourselves in that fork in the road of pursuing a career and a profession or a lifestyle that is very different than what our immigrant and diaspora communities have wanted. That might be the first memory you have of wanting to veer away and focus on yourself. But what we also know is there are a series of decisions and choices that you need to make on a daily basis about your own dreams, hopes, and fears, and about your own priorities in life. And making those decisions can be really hard when you feel the pressure of a family, a community, a cultural expectation. And some of you are actually the people who put that pressure on others. And if you're watching this and you are one of the people who get on the computer and get on the keyboard or get on your phone and tell people how they should be living, I would like you to think a little bit twice before you do that. I would like you to think a little bit more about what your role and purpose is here and what you're doing to offer people support and growth. Commenting is never going to help. Spectatorship is never going to help. What helps is creating spaces for people to feel welcome. So if you see something that you think should be done differently, you lead by example and you create a space. I always say in the diaspora, we listen, we don't judge. You know, that's what we say. Well, in the diaspora, we really need to listen and not judge. So it's important for us to honor the fact that being in the diaspora ultimately takes you down a path of having to make decisions at a very individual level. A bank account, a course of study, a job, your education. These decisions can be made by the support or maybe feedback of people you trust and love, but ultimately you have the space, the agency, and the right to create all those things. And using the word the right isn't meant to be like a pushback or something. It's that it exists, that is there for you. And there are people who interact with me on socials saying that, the idea that people can do things on their own to be feminist is controversial. It's unfortunate that you see it that way. But what I'm telling you is that being in the diaspora means you are in an ecosystem where decisions have to be made every day, every hour, and you need to practice how to make decisions. Because as an adult walking down the street, you are going to be faced with the need to make decisions every minute of the day, especially now. So when I'm telling you and inviting you to create the spaces you wish existed and to join me at the Diaspora Academy, it's because I want you to have the space and the time to explore yourself and to understand what's important to you. And the Diaspora Academy is a business that I run, but it's really meant to create a space for all diasporas to find their power, to find their strength, to find their voice, to find their hopes, dreams, and fears. Okay? So that you can live your best life as a member of a diaspora community and you can make the most of your life in the diaspora. Whether that's a career, whether that's a family, whether that's just a dream you have of something you want to accomplish. If you don't make use of the space that is available to you in the diaspora, then I don't know if you're making the best use of your time in the diaspora as a community member, okay? Again, when you are a member of a diaspora, you're probably thinking about what other people think or what so-and-so will say or what so-and-so said. And I'm encouraging you to consider yourself also in this individual path, in this personal path, all right? So for me, the biggest goal here is helping you find ways to explore your hopes, dreams, and fears. And this is why I'm doing this event in July in a couple weeks. Actually, no, in 9 days. September. Oh, I said September. Saturday, July 19 at 1 o'clock. I want to see you at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I want to see you because we're going to talk about how you identify what motivates you, what drives you, what good you want to do in this world, how you want to spend your time, talent, and treasure. You could be a college student trying to get a degree. You could be a young professional who's just figuring out your career path. You could be a mom, a stay-at-home mom who wants to help children back in your homeland or help families in your local community. There are so many ways you can use your time, talent, and treasure. You could be a really proud father who wants to teach the culture to his kids, to the communities. I mean, a lot of us, these are examples I get all the time of people who have like really strong ideas and beliefs and dreams. And yet you live in a diaspora, in an ecosystem, in a country where you don't know where to begin. And of course, we always begin with our people, our community. We begin with what's close to us. But when you look up for a minute and you realize there's laws, there's regulations, there's free resources, there's best practices, there's rules, there's a system that you have to operate under, a system that you may not have seen before. That is where we come in, all right? I have supported diaspora community organizers, diaspora entrepreneurs, diaspora academics, diaspora creatives, and from many different countries, around 80 countries now at this point. And yes, Africa, the Arab world, Europe, Caribbean, Asia, and I find two things to be true. One, as members of these diaspora communities, we are across the board so proud to be a part of our communities. And we are so grateful to have the proximity available to us because not all diasporas have the privilege of knowing their ancestry and knowing their community, right? The community that they come from. They have to do the double work of discovering their lineage. That's a story that we share so often in the African diaspora, the African American story, the forcibly enslaved from the transatlantic slave trade. The reality of being forcibly taken from our homeland meant that the stories, the memories, and the relationships are not there. You have to revive them. You have to reconnect them, right? So that's one part of a diaspora work, is understanding how connected you are to your homeland and what your hopes, dreams, and fears are there. But then it's also about, well, who are you now in the diaspora, and what do you do with that? That's what I want to help you with, because part of this is reconciling your relationship with your homeland, the fact that you left the homeland, whether you chose to or not, whether circumstances drove you to leave, or you chose to leave because of, something that took you out to, you had to get love, you had to get family, you had to have a job, you had to have all these dreams that you had to pursue. Or maybe you left for circumstances that are really, really difficult and unfair. Fear for your safety, fear for your well-being, fear of instability or suffering at your homeland. No one wants to leave home, right? But in those cases, the way you leave, the way you travel, and the way you come and are accepted into your adopted homeland really shape your sense of self, your agency. And if you have arrived in a homeland that has not received you very well, that has not received you as a human being with dignity, right? If you have arrived into a country that is anti-immigrant or is showing you that they have anti-immigrant tendencies, then you're going to look at this place and not see the possibility that is there for you, because the message you're getting is that it's not possible for you. And I'm here to tell you that that's not the case. There are so many resources and communities and networks and spaces available to you that you are deserving to have, that you have a right to have, that you need to walk through those doors that are open for you. And you need to not operate and live in fear. Fear is real. Fear and anger are real feelings that you can have. But your actions can show a courage, a bravery, a sense of dignity and self-respect, and a sense of vulnerability, of willing to connect with other people and listen and learn. Because in the diaspora, we listen, we don't judge. And part of that is your journey shapes how you see yourself and your role in your relationship in the diaspora. Now, if you were born abroad, if you were raised with an immigrant parent or two immigrant parents, then yeah, you've been walking that tightrope your whole life. You've been in a bicultural household. You've been not enough of this and not enough of that. Yeah, I get it. That's my story. But you should know that even if your family, your household, and your community do not think that some ideas are possible or that they should be pursued, I want you to take a step back and just listen to yourself. I want you to explore what is most important to you and be willing to pursue your questions and dreams without fear. Now, you have to still be responsible. You have to still be, legal and orderly and all these things that many of us hear. Don't make a mistake. Don't do this, very risk-averse households. But I want you to still take time to honor your experience and honor your mind, your possibilities, your creativity, to think of something great that you can do with your life, that you can do for others, that you can do for the world, right? Your greatest skill set, your time, talents, and treasures. And whatever it is that you see yourself wanting to do, think of the good that it will bring to so many people, right? I only operate in this diaspora space from a place of love, of joy, and of service, right? I am also very, very, very pragmatic. I am very realistic. I have experienced a whole lot on the professional side and personal side. And so I could be a very good pessimistic person. I am kind of skeptical in a lot of things, but it's a healthy skepticism, right? So I'm saying to you that when I tell you diaspora experiences and diaspora contributions have to be defined and led from a place of love, joy, and service, it's because that is the kind of strength that is needed to overcome the ugliness of what's out here, to overcome the hatred and the fear and the ignorance. And yeah, I know you hear it before, love, love, love. But I really mean you got to love yourself hard. Okay, well, you're already proud. Chances are, if you are listening to this and you are a member of a diaspora, you are already proud of who you are, right? But it is very easy to fall into a place of anger. And it is very easy to fall into a place of reaction and toxicity and dysfunction and putting your energy out into that world. Now, what have you done? You have just spent your beautiful time, talent, and treasure and put it out there to dust. Okay, it has turned into something that is just dissipates. Anger is part of our emotional states. So is fear. But when you lead with love, it is so much easier to create something. It is so much easier. Like joy is the greatest form of resistance. Do you understand that? Do you understand that your power is in being willing to take a risk and lean forward and ideate and create something? It can be anything. It can be an idea. It can be a business. It can be a family. It could be a network. Just creating something that is beautiful. But leading with love, joy, and service means that you can't let fear come in. You can't let other people's shoulda, woulda, couldas come in. You can't even let yourself use those words. Those are actually words that are out of my language. If you ever hear yourself saying should, would, and could, I want you to take that out, because that is one thing I know we all have in our diaspora languages. I know. I don't care what language you're talking about. Culturally, should, would, and could is a lot of projection. It's a lot of judging. And what do I say about diasporas? In the diaspora, we listen, we don't judge. So I take out that language. But I want you to remember, in times like this, in times of crisis, you have to really dig deep and think about what is it that is your greatest love, hopes, and dreams? What is it that you want to offer this world? Because your time, your talent, your treasure is unique to you, not what other people want you to do. But also the how. Don't worry about the how. The how will get there. How do you do it? I know that's immediately where you jump. Yeah. I want to paint murals in every city in the United States that depict diasporic life. How would I do that? Cross that bridge when you get there. First, sit with the idea of what you love and start to define it and start to carve it out and shape it and hold on to it. But don't be stuck in the perfection of your idea. Don't be stuck in the how and the logistics. What you have to understand is what is motivating you? What is your vision? What is your mission here, right? Operating from a place of love, joy, and service means that you have some outcomes you want to see. You have some impact you want to make. And the better you get at defining that and describing it, the better you get at sharing what you believe and want to experience and want to discover, the higher likelihood you have of other people wanting to join you or support you or help you get there, right? Because in the diaspora, at least in the United States especially, ideas are still your greatest resource, okay? People say money is always a thing, but no, it's always an idea. How do you think all these rich people are making money? They're selling ideas. And if money's your goal, ta-da, that's the secret. People are out here testing ideas, and they're testing ideas with a vigor, with confidence, with inquisitive minds, with data and evidence and research-backed approaches. Sure, but at the heart of it, it's about the belief in the importance of their idea and their contribution to the world. And to me, I'm like, diasporas are doing that all the time. Okay, you know the story of how so many companies are founded by immigrants, right? You know how many Fortune 100 companies are founded by immigrants in the United States? It's along those lines. But I think that many of us that are in diaspora communities, particularly from the global South, particularly from Africa, Middle East, Asia, Latin America, Caribbean, I think we have a deference to each other in such a way that our individual ideas are kind of over here. Do you see my hand? You can't see it, right? It's way over here. That's what I'm talking about. I want you to start feeling comfortable in the diaspora, sharing ideas without fear, and also with the confidence that what you're presenting is from a place of love, place of service, and a place of joy. Now, there are always going to be people who say you can't do that. And 9 times out of 10, they are going to be of a certain demographic in our diaspora communities. They're going to be older. They're going to be at a certain stage of life that is usually more traditional, more conservative. Maybe they're married, parents, husbands, wives, families, right? Community elders, right? Because they're entitled to that worldview because that is their worldview. And if you were one of those people who see things that the diasporas are doing or you're a member of a diaspora and you don't think that women should be doing things on their own, because that is what someone said to me not too long ago, that being feminist or women in politics is actually not right. Okay, you're entitled to your personal view. But in the diaspora, we listen, we don't judge. You have to understand that your opinion is here. And that person's right to explore their power, explore their journey, explore their own life is their right. And even as you struggle to comprehend this, I'm not interested in trying to convince you. I am talking to the people who want to give their time, talent, and treasure for good in this world, and who want to learn how to overcome their fear, and who want to learn how to make impact in a way that is sustainable, that is just, that is equitable, that is moral, that is inclusive. Okay? And that includes people who are not in the diaspora. I get so many requests from people that say, hey, I really want to reach out to some diaspora folks. Could you help us? Okay. Well, what's your motivation? What's your goal? Why do you want to talk to them? I'm very protective of us. But it's also realizing that your journey requires, in some shape or form, engagement with people who are not from your diaspora or who are not a part of the diaspora of your region. Okay? Cross-cultural, whatever you want to call it. So the idea that your diaspora life is personal doesn't mean that being in the diaspora is to be a full-on individual, selfish, individualistic, because that's how we really believe it is, isn't it? That's what a lot of people in our diaspora community say. You know, once you get out into the diaspora, they don't care about your community. They leave the community. They forget about us. Well, I know it might look like that a lot of times, but when you scratch at the surface, you scratch beyond the surface, you look a little further. When there are people who appear to have left the community, there's two things that are happening there. Number one, that person probably had a worldview and a lived experience that led them to think of things differently. They may have experienced a harm. They may have experienced pain. They may have experienced trauma. I'm going to talk about things, as always, as honestly as I can. They may have not been able to feel that they can express themselves, who they are, how they want to live, without deep judgment, without deep shame, without deep pushback. And that hurts when you don't feel accepted or listened to or respected in your community. And respect is a hard one, but I mean that to say, to show yourself as you are, to have ideas that are different, to have experienced trauma and pain that has messed you up a little, that has hurt you, that has affected you. It changes you. And the question becomes, well, are our communities ready and able to deal with these questions, to deal with these realities? Do we have a space to talk about it? And we're starting to. Mental health, we're starting to. And I'm going to talk about like Eritrean, maybe the broader East African diaspora communities that I'm familiar with. We're starting to kind of talk about it. What happens when someone has a mental health illness? What happens when a family has a trauma? What happens when someone is struggling with addiction or struggling with something? How does the community deal with it? We hide it. A lot of us hide it. A lot of communities do. Shame, judgment. And what happens in the diaspora is you can exist with those realities, with those experiences, and demand that you don't be judged for it because you have to work through it. There are therapists, okay? And there are therapists from the diaspora who are waiting for you. There are resources. There are addiction centers. There are homeless shelters. There are resources to catch you when things go wrong. And for diaspora communities that don't understand that yet or don't believe in them, the people in those communities find no other recourse but to leave. Okay, so that's what's happening, number one. Number two, the other thing that's happening when someone looks like they're individualistic, that they forgot about us, is that person has a set of ideas or vision that go beyond what the current community can see currently. A vision, and this is what we talk about in my training, so this is what we're going to talk about on July 19th. A vision is really the ability to see something that is needed for the community, that is for the greater good, and that can positively benefit the community. And I'll get it. I'm not giving you a definition now. I'm giving you like a rough version. But that is what usually drives people to say, oh, I have this really big idea and I want to chase it. But in order for me to chase it, I have to go beyond the bounds of the network and the community that I'm currently a part of. I'm going to stay being connected to the community, but I have to go a little bit beyond. And that is taking a risk. And not a lot of people are risk averse in many communities, but that person might be. And so when you see someone taking on an individualist path, chances are they're trying to pursue a question, an idea, a dream, a vision that will ultimately benefit the community that they're a part of as well as the greater community. And so that's why understanding that being in the diaspora requires you to understand that this is first a personal journey. Second, you are a part of a community. And striking that balance is going to be really important for you to do. You need skills on how to take care of yourself and your mind and your spirit just as much as you're a part of a community. So if you feel the pressures on you and you want to do this, but the pressure is for you to go this way, I can help you. If you want to think of something and offer something to the world that has never been done before in your community or in somewhere else, and you don't know where to start because your community isn't as networked or your network isn't as networked, I can help you. If you are someone who faces a lot of constraints or fears or pressures and you are just tired of it, it's okay. I can help you. I think what's important for me today is to share with you that these needs are not small and they are very important. And your job in the diaspora is to take care of yourself, your wellness, but also to think of how you can use your time, talent, and treasure for good and how you can use it. I don't want you to think about other people's time, talent, and treasure. I don't want you in my comments talking about what other people should do with their lives. If there are any of you who join my socials talking about what other people should do, I will not tolerate it. I just want you to know. But I want you to use your time in the diaspora to use your time, talents, and treasures for yourself. I want you to think of that. I want you to use your time focused on yourself. How can I give what I have to offer this world like the best way? Okay? Be a good brother, be a good sister, be a good parent, be a good auntie, be whatever it is in your family that you can be, first and foremost. And if you're a religious person, if you're a person of faith, be the best child of your God that you can be. Allah, God, any other religious belief you have, be that child, that servant, that best servant for your God that you can be. That's private. To me, those things are private. And your family structure, your family relationship, private. Okay, some of you may not have family. Some of us are diasporas that were uprooted and separated from our families. Some of us lost our parents, lost our family members at young ages. Some of us want family and have not found that person or have not been able to connect with someone who respects who we are, right? There's a two-way street in the diaspora, okay? And I'm talking about this because there's a lot of diaspora women who are not married who are getting comments around not being married. We've talked about this, but I have to remind you this. Talking to women about what they should do, how it's going to work in the diaspora. There are so many new barriers and challenges that exist in the diaspora that she is most often dealing with. Okay? But I want you to understand that even if you're not able to have that idea of what you thought it should be, or if you feel like the community or your diaspora community says things should be a certain way and you want to go this way, that's okay. And I can help you with that. Okay. So these lives are meant for me to just pop in here and say hello and invite you to join me. I don't know if this resonates with you. I don't know how many of you feel like what I'm saying is true, but your job right now and your job always is to focus on your time, talents, and treasures, to think about what you can positively contribute to your community, your country, the world. I want you to make use of your time in the diaspora so that honoring the sacrifices of the people who came here before you. Maybe it was you if you're a first-generation immigrant. But if you are a child of immigrants, or if you are a descendant of migrants, then you're more multi-generational. You know those risks that they had to take to get from point A to point B and to survive. Your job right now is not to sit here and feel like you don't know what to do with your life. Your job is to figure it out. Even if your dad, your husband, your brother, your uncle, your elder, your mom, your all of that, even if all of that is in your ear, your job is to chase and pursue your dreams and understand what it is you can do in the diaspora with your skills, your talents, your abilities. And maybe you don't know your skills and talents yet because you haven't tested them yet. That's the whole point. Go. Okay? So with the Diaspora Academy and with my work, what I do, I work on creating these spaces for you. And I want you to be able to meet me halfway, meet me where we are, right? I'm coming to you. I want you to come to me. I also want you to understand that you are deserving of this time in this space. You are worthy. And this focus on your individual life is a necessary component for you to survive and give back as a community member. It is critical that you invest in yourself. And yeah, it kind of hurts sometimes saying no to loved ones or establishing boundaries. It kind of hurts. It's kind of hard. But it's a skill set you're going to need because you got to do it at the workplace. You got to do it at the volunteer organization. You got to do it with your friends, and you got to do it with people you don't want to see. So setting boundaries is a skill set that if you don't practice it early, if you don't practice it now, it gets harder later. Okay? So I want you to consider this an invitation to continue staying close with what I'm doing, what others are doing. And if you really do want to work on everything I've just talked about, this is why I'm doing this event next week. It's next Saturday. Today's Thursday, July 10th. It's on Saturday, July 19th. It's online. It is at 1 o'clock. I'm trying to find a time where California can join me in Seattle, all the way to Nairobi, Kenya, because that's also part of my work, is that it's diasporas who are all over the world. But most of us are in the West, and we are from homelands that are in the global South, right? And we're always thinking about our people here and there. There's so much you can do, and that's what I want to help you with. So I want to thank you for your time. And if you feel that anything I have said crossed a line for you or didn't sit well with you, maybe it isn't a part of your values framework, I respect your thoughts and I respect your values. I just want you to understand that there are so many different lived experiences in our diaspora communities. There are so many. We are not all the same. And we have all taken many, very many different routes, whether we were born abroad or we moved here. That journey from homeland to homeland had a lot of twists and turns, had a lot of challenges, had a lot of things happen that you are not going to hear about. If you're talking to someone born or raised abroad, their journey in life has had a lot of twists and turns, a lot of challenges, and a lot of things that we're not going to talk about. So it's important for us to remember the goal in the diaspora is to listen and not judge. And if you subscribe to that, I invite you and I welcome you. If you want to judge, you can go and judge, but it won't get you very far, and it'll get you really worked up. It'll make you miss out on the best parts of your life, spending time looking at other people. And I would really encourage you to maybe consider what you're teaching your own family members about your behavior, because your first accountability is to your family, and then you have a lot of great work and great love to give. And that's why I want you to lead with love, with joy, and service. Okay? So if you want to learn more about the session on Saturday, the 19th, it's 90 minutes. It is about discovering your Mabrahti moment for the Tigrinya speakers, your light. I'm going to walk you through how to discover your vision and your mission and purpose, how to identify and define what is motivating you and what you want to do, what questions to consider. It'll have interactive questions. It'll have workbooks, worksheets. It'll have presentation, and it'll be a conversation. It'll be us. I want you to take time for yourself. All right. Thank you all for your time. And I will leave you with this. And I can't wait to see you next Thursday, July 17th. And I'll talk more about the session itself and a little bit more. But if you have questions, if you want me to kind of discuss anything, I'm happy to. Please drop me a note, DM, drop it on the comments. And I wish you all well. I hope you stay safe. I hope you take care of your spirit. I hope you remember that you are more powerful than you know. And I want you to lean into your love and your joy more than your fear. Because even though the times are really intense and can be very fear-inducing, your greatest strength is your love and your ability to show up. So I can't wait to see you until next week, everyone. Take care and thank you. Okay? Bye-bye. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and follow That Second Gen Life with Semhar on your favorite listening platform.